So in this video, we're going to talk about why I believe the Knicks should avoid trading for a superstar player. I think that there's time to do this the organic way. If we force a trade and we make the wrong move, that move possibly could set us back 5 to 10 years. So let's talk about it. Welcome to the channel. I am the Objective Fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. You know the vibes. If this is your first time here, definitely hit that subscribe button. We get it in over here. We strictly talk about Knicks. We are diehard Knicks fans, and we get it in. But the key thing is this is level-headed Knicks talk, and I try to stay as objective as possible. And we're going to really get into today's topic. So I know some of you guys were pretty mad, and you guys thought that we were going to be able to acquire Paul George, and we actually had him. I'm in research mode early. So salute to Alan Hahn. He has a podcast, the Barton Hahn podcast, and I gotta check that out. So in this little soundbite clip here, he says that the Knicks had a chance to get Paul George. However, they said it was too expensive and they don't want to do it. They've already backed out of that. They talked to the Clippers. The Clippers gave what it would cost. Then Paul George said, but I would want an extension. So let me talk about that extension right quick. Paul George has a player option. He's already making $45 million for this season, right? And then he has another option, player option for $48 million next year. So he basically wants to drop that player option, and he wants us to give him that extension. And I have it here according to Brave AI. I believe this number is accurate. It says he's eligible for a current extension worth a max of over $220 million for 4 years. So the Knicks did the right thing, in my opinion. They didn't want to commit to Paul George for that long. Let's look at Paul George's age. He's born in 1990, 33 years old, 13 years in the league. I mean, you know, I like what I like to look at. So when we're looking at advanced stats, I like to look at the amount of games that Paul George has actually played. So before we get into the rest of the content, take the time to check out the official Knicks fan store, shop.theobjectiveknicksfans.com. These are some shirts that I custom designed, and they're all Knicks inspired. I bleed orange and blue, different variants, different styles. Definitely check me out. It's gonna go good with your Knicks hats, your Knicks shorts, anything Knicks that you have. My merchandise will go lovely with that. So let's get back into the content. We're going to look at Paul George's season, right? And if you've been following my channel, you know that I love to go here because this tells it all. So we're in year 13, right? And if you look at the last 4 years, that is a scary sight to see. I love to use the 70 game mark as a barometer for a player's durability and availability and rate them as someone. If you play over 70 games, that means that you're definitely someone that is dependable. Now, if you look at his last 4 years, the man he's barely played over 55 games. And so he's 33 years old. He wants a 4-year max deal worth $220. Is that someone that you would commit to? I think the Knicks did the right thing, and this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to trade for a superstar player, you're going to have money issues because now you're going to have to commit long-term to these contracts. And if he's not going to move the needle to get us to a championship, he's not worth it. And I'm not just saying Paul George. I'm not just trying to single out Paul George. This is who we're talking about right now. But a lot of the star players that you would sign or you would want to trade for and then sign to extensions if their deals are running out, they cost a lot of money. Let's go to the NBA salaries, man. So I'm gonna start at one. So Steph Curry, untouchable. You're not getting Kevin Durant. You're not getting Jokic. Now, the one guy who I would consider trading for is Joel Embiid. I'll get into that a little later. But LeBron, no. Bill just was traded, and he has a no trade clause. Paul George is the 7th highest paid player in the NBA. Let that sink in. Now, Giannis is a guy I think you have to trade for. Dame Lillard, he's amazing. I think he's better than Paul George from a trade value aspect, but we already got a point guard in Jalen Brunson, so a Damian Lillard wouldn't make sense, right? So we're going through this list. These are the top players, paid players, and a lot of these guys are the star players as well. Okay, so I'm saying we need to be cautious before we pursue these guys in the trade. Kawhi Leonard is a hard no. Jimmy Butler will never leave Miami. Klay Thompson, I don't think that I would go after Klay Thompson 33 years again. Rudy Gobert, Rudy Gobert might be an upgrade defensively over Mitch, but let's keep it real. $41 million. We got a guy that's probably making $40 million for the next 3 years. So why would I honestly give that up for a guy like Rudy Gobert? No, thank you. Fred VanVleet, he just signed his deal. Anthony Davis, he's not going to be traded. Zach LaVine said he didn't want to come to the Knicks, right? So we're already in the top 16. Luka, I think, is going to stay with Dallas. Trae Young, no thank you. We already have Jalen Brunson. Tobias Harris, no thank you. Think of that $39 million on Tobias Harris. This is a guy that hasn't made an all-star team nor all-NBA team, and as long as I could remember. If he even made an all-star team. I'm not even going to pull up his resume. Kyrie Irving. No, he's definitely someone I wouldn't go after. Ben Simmons is a hard no. Now, Pascal Siakam is someone I would consider, but I do think that if you were to I think Toronto wants too much for Pascal. So, and the grass isn't always greener on the other side, right? Now, how many of these guys, these top guys, bring more wins to your team? Karl-Anthony Towns is another hard no. Right? Another hard no. So there's too many no's when I'm looking at this list. There's only a couple of yeses thus far, right? Guys that I would actually make moves for. Let's look. Drew Holiday, hard no, because we got a point guard. Porzingis already was traded. Towns, I don't want Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm sorry. He's a really talented player, but he hasn't been an all-star nor an all-NBA talent in the past 2 years. So, you have to make these trades make sense. This is why I love being in research mode. This is why when I do these videos, I do them the way I do so we can actually get accurate insight and then actually give our perspective based on the facts, right? So, are you willing? Notice how we didn't even see Julius Randle yet, right? Who is technically the highest paid player on the team right now. We haven't even seen him pop up yet on this list, right? Devin Booker is definitely not up for trade. If he was, I would trade. He's another guy. So let's add him to the list. So we got 4 guys who we would trade for. CJ McCollum, no. James Harden, no. Sorry. Ja Morant, I did a video. If you missed it, Ja Morant versus RJ Barrett, who would be the better draft pick? Ja Morant, no. I wouldn't trade for him right now. And he's a point guard. We already have a point guard. Same thing with Darius Garland. He's a point guard. Zion is interesting. I think I would need to see another good year from Zion before I would consider him. And think about it. If you trade your team, like I said, you might gonna have to deplete your roster. How many of these guys will move the needle? Now, let me tell you right now, looking at this list, Murray and Porter definitely not going to be available. Ingram he's interesting, but I think it will cost too much to get him. But I see 2 guys on this list right now who I would give everything for right now at the drop of a hat. I love Jalen Brunson, and I'm not saying I'm trading Jalen Brunson. I don't think I would ever trade Jalen Brunson. But let me see that. You see this kid here, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? If he is available, I'm trading the farm besides Jalen Brunson. I think Shai is a really talented player. I think he could actually play with Brunson more than Mitchell would, right? I think he would be a better fit than Mitchell because he could defend, and Brunson has had experience off the ball as well. And Shai, I think, could also play off the ball as well. I think that Shai, SGA, and Brunson would be a great backcourt. Now, this is the last guy on this list that I'm interested in. That's Jason Tatum. I would trade for Jason Tatum in a heartbeat. Jason Tatum is amazing. I think you bring Jason Tatum to New York, it'll be fireworks. And I think that's it. Now, look, Randle is the 47th high player on the list, and then Brunson is the 52nd. So the grass isn't always greener on the other side. right? Now, going back up to Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid and Giannis, but I don't think Giannis will be available, but Joel Embiid might be available. So a lot of you guys are saying, yeah, trade for a star, sign a star, but these guys don't even be available. Out of this top 10 highest paid players, who is the former MVP, I think the only one that might be available is, well, we know Paul George is available, but we kind of, got out of that trade because we didn't want to extend him. But Joel Embiid and possibly Kawhi too, and Dame, because Dame put himself on the trade list. But Dame only wants to go to Miami, so Dame is not really someone you can get. Maybe Kawhi, but definitely Joel Embiid is the guy who I would watch for because James Harden asked for a trade. So with that being said, Joel Embiid might be available. He is the only star player in the top 10 that I would trade. Not everything for him. I will put together a nice package for him. I think that him and Brunson would look nice, but there's no action on that front too. Unless James Harden goes through, he gets traded, and now Embiid is upset with who they get in return, and then maybe Embiid wants out. So that Philly situation is something to watch out for. So outside of that, I don't think it's worth trading for a star. I think that we should consider smaller moves. I'm gonna give you some smaller moves. Two guys that I would consider: OG Anunoby. We were able to trade for OG. I think OG Anunoby would be a great fit in New York. You probably could start him at the 3, bring him off the bench. He might could play a little 4 small ball kind of lineup. He's a nice little 6'6", 6'7" wing player. I love him, but that's only if the package is right. And then another player who I like, I would say, would be signing Christian Wood. I think if we could sign Christian Wood, I have a list here. Let's see. Christian Wood is the best free agent available according to this USA Today article. Christian Wood is the number 1 guy left. He's not a defender, but neither was Obi. But he can score, and he can stretch the floor. And he's a better rebounder than Obi. I would like to see Christian Wood if possible. I think he might want a sizable contract. That's possibly why he's also not signed yet. But I would keep monitoring Christian Wood. I think he would be a great backup for Randall and even play some 5. I think he will be more compatible with Randall as well. So my last thing I want to say is that I just want to see this team come out for one more year. We made it to the second round. It's a young team, young roster. Everybody's pretty much in their 20s. You still got to probably move Fournier's contract. We just got to see what that brings, what that yields. But I think that the Knicks need to really consider staying the course and not rock the boat, not look to completely disturb the nucleus of the team. Unless, like I said, if Joel Embiid is available, he's the one guy who I think you have to trade for. I think he's the one guy that gets you over the hump. He's an MVP. And I think that he plays hard, works hard. I think he would be a great fit, especially if you could keep 2 of your big 3 and get him. That would be amazing. So with that being said, definitely thanks for checking me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, let's go Knicks. Check out the brand new, hottest Knicks fan store on the net. Shopped at theobjectiveknicksfan.com, and we got the brand new I Bleed orange and blue t-shirts. We got them in white. We got them in black. Shop now on the website to get yours t-shirt now. We have them in all sizes. We have them from small to 3X. We also got the hate disseminated by naysayers and how mad it inspires players to push forward. Rep your team this offseason with style and pride. And you can get your shirts now. We will be launching a 10% discount. So get yours now, exclusively on shop.theobjectiveknicksfan.com.